Recently, IShowSpeed has been visiting African countries and it has sparked a lot of conversations. Some people are excited because he's showing Africa the way the mainstream media often doesn't. Others are upset because his announcement visuals and the way Africa was portrayed looked like the usual animal and jungle stereotype. And honestly, both sides have a point, I think so. In this episode of Cultural Power and Systems, I want to break down what this moment really means beyond all the emotion. First, we have to acknowledge something. IShowSpeed has numbers. He has a lot of them. He has the reach. He has the influence. And whether we like it or not, when someone with this kind of platform shows up somewhere, they don't just visit. They create a global moment. And that's what IShowSpeed is doing right now. Many African creators have been showcasing Africa for years. Culture, the food, the lifestyle, the cities, innovation. But the reality is platform doesn't distribute attention equally. So when Speed shows Africa, it becomes a boost, not because Africa needed him to exist, but because the world pays attention when certain people speak. That's not called a cultural problem. That is a power problem. And it is normal. Now, let's address something. This is a main issue people raised. A lot of people complain that his announcement video and flyer portrayed Africa like a continent of animals. And I understand that reaction because Africa has been reduced to that particular image for decades. But here is the part that requires honesty. Africa has animals. Africa has skyscrapers. Africa has technology. Africa also has good roads, beautiful cities, universities, art, fashion, and modern life. So the problem is not the animals, honestly. The problem is when animals become the only story. Because when you show Africa only as wildlife, it becomes a symbol of backwardness and not beauty at all. And that's why people reacted the way they did react. This is where the systems part come in. Africa has a narrative problem not because Africa likes stories. Africa has a narrative problem because for a long time, the global story about Africa has been shaped by outsiders. The mainstream media, charities, crisis coverage, stereotypes that travel faster than reality. So when Africa improves, the old story remains. And that's why a single flyer can trigger a very serious conversation because representation is not about feelings only. Representation is about power. Who gets to decide what Africa is? Now, with all that has been said, I still believe that his visit is a very net positive. Because when Speed is on the street, interacting with people, eating food, visiting cities, showing energy, showing joy, he is accidentally correcting the narrative. He is actually showing something mainstream media only highlights: normal life, hospitality, vibrancy, youth culture, a modern Africa. And it's very important. Even if he didn't come as a historian or he didn't come as a documentarian, his content still carries cultural weight. All the places he visits, the things he shows, and that's very, very important. We cannot ignore that, all the things that his visit has been doing. This moment also reveals something about African creators, or something that African creators already know. Africa has creators, creators doing an amazing work, but the global distribution is very, very unequal. I could name a lot of creators, the Myers, the Tyraninas of Nigeria, and all those people, a lot of them. Speed numbers mean more eyes, more curiosity, more tourism interest, more cultural exchange, and a whole lot. And the fact that it takes an outsider's platform to amplify what Africa has been showing for so many years tells us that the system is very, very unbalanced. And so instead of fighting only over Speed, we could also, or we should ask, how do we build systems that amplify African storytellers at the same scale? That is the real question. So yes, two things can be true. Africa has wildlife. animals and everything, the safari and everything. Africa has advancement. Africa has villages and Africa has cities. Two things at the same time. Africa has struggle, Africa has excellence. All these two are right. The problem has never been Africa's reality. It has never been at all. The problem has been the world's single story about Africa. And if Speech Visit helps break that single story, then it's a moment worth paying attention to. I don't see any problem to that. This is culture, power, and systems, and we're telling one story at a time. If you think that stories like this resonate with you and you want to continue listening to stories like this, how we break them down on this channel, please do make sure you follow me or make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel right there. Subscribe to it right down there, and let's continue this conversation. Drop your comment in the comment section and tell us what you think about Speed's visit and what do you think? Is it positive or is it negative?
Appreciate